Monday, March 27th, 2023, the day Old School changed forever. Maybe, I don't know. So they have some pitches for some new skills: sailing, which, I mean, kind of an old skill, but we'll get into that, taming, and shamanism. I'm just showing you a brief overview. These are pitches for skills. They are intentionally vague. If you would like to participate in the discussion, please watch the video and maybe understand stage 3. This is very important. So basically what this is they are saying you pick one concept and they'll work on it a little more. All these are intentionally vague, okay? They've left out details because they don't want people to be like, oh, they say the XP per hour isn't good, oh, I don't like it, and then get rid of it. Whereas they can just change those numbers, okay? They could, if you're like, oh man, 40k an hour, that sucks, I want 80k. They could just do 80k. They don't have to throw away the whole skill. So that's part of what the pitches are for, is they have it vague concepts, and then you go, okay, I want to know more about that. Then they move to the refinement, and they continue going forward. And at any of these stages, if we decide as a community, actually this doesn't play out how I thought it would, they can go back. We can go back. Like, they do not have to lock something in. They do not want to intentionally put in something bad into the game and have people leave the community and not pay for membership. That is not the goal with these skills. So as long as you have that understanding in mind while you're talking about this, I think you can provide healthy discussion. If you just see taming and you're like, oh man, that's just Pokemon, I hate it, that's maybe not constructive. Maybe don't do that. Maybe don't flood my comments with that. With all that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about skills. And here we are at the last of the 3 pitches, shamanism. Why does shamanism have the potential to be the best Old School RuneScape new skill? Well, let me tell you. And we're going to start and end with using the pretty little pitch. They have partnered with 2 community members, Gentle Tractor and Vulcaban, to make a digital representation of the pitch. I don't know why they added these later. These should be at the very top. These are nice to look at. These help not confuse people. This is the only one I'm gonna look at, okay? I'm not scrolling up. So shamanism, the shamanism skill. Also, it sounds weird saying shamanism. I would think it would just be shaman, but that's not. I'm not gonna vote no on this because it has ISM at the end of it. That's totally fine. What does this even mean? What is this? It looks, let me just say first impressions. Aesthetically, thematically, visually, like all this seems so cool. I love the way this looks. Like this, just art-wise, presentation, it just seems so nice. Like so much better than the other ones. I got no shame to the other ones. Like the other ones fit in very well to the existing world that Old School RuneScape has. And I think this also fits in well. Like, I think this is something you could imagine being in Old School, but it's just not the normal Old School stuff. So let me tell you what it actually is. So the overview for this is that you will study the magical power of nature through shamanism and unlock the ability to perform rituals. Gather components, perform rituals, and infuse objects with the magic of the spirit realm. Create powerful items like tikis, totems, poultices, is that right? And augment your own equipment with powerful new effects. Your mastery of shamanism will let you unlock your third eye and gain access to the spirit realm and communicate with spirits lingering between the 2 worlds. So this is like, honestly, as a kid, this is kind of what I wanted Herblore to be. Like collecting things from monsters and not just sitting in a bank making potions all day. Like actually doing some weird stuff. Look at that cauldron on the side, all those weird bubbles. Like this definitely makes me think like Mortania, Ectofunctus, weird dead things, stuff like that. Whereas Herblore is like, I don't know, I really don't feel like Herblore reflects the world, like honestly at all. Like you go over towards Taverley and you talk to the different monks over there and they're like, yeah, you can like mix some stuff together. But really the only times I feel like you've actually used potions and done cool things like that is the Mortania stuff, really. Like making the serum, I think was cool. And having that like transform people. I can't really think of anything else like that off the top of my head. I think all the Mortania, like just like infected people, dead people, like stuff like that is kind of the vibe that I've always wanted from Herblore. And I feel like this can really bring it out. Like this, again, just thematically, like this just seems like a really fun thing to add to the world. But let's go ahead and keep going over it. The core gameplay loop of this is to forage for natural components, gather spiritual components, draw ritual circles, and create powerful shamanic items. I don't know why they keep, what? Just say shaman. Shamanic, shamanism. I don't know why they keep doing that, but yeah, I really dig that. Again, yeah, this is kind of like nature spirity foraging for natural components. You know, it seems very much like you're filling up your druidic pouch and things like that, which I always thought could have had so much more potential. Like I was just like, man, this is just kind of a pain having to like collect all this stuff. Like, I'm not doing anything cool with it. This seems like you're doing something cool with it. So how do you do these things though? So foraging, the first steps of shamanism involve foraging for natural components. These can be gathered from all kinds of different plants and monsters throughout the world. Spirit, disturbed sites or locations around Gielinor with a special connection to the spirit realm. You can find and gather spiritual components here, which can be combined with natural components and special shamanic rituals. Immediately disturbed sites. I am thinking of that quest by Vara. A Soul's Bane is the name of the quest, where there's a rift and a boy falls in and there's all this weird trippy stuff you got to deal with him. That could be really cool, having some sort of connection like that. I like that quest a lot thematically. I mean, obviously, you know, some of the quests aren't like super engaging, or the rewards aren't, you know, necessarily what you'd want or whatever. But I do think if the disturbed sites or spirit realm or anything like that has any sort of connection with that quest, I think that would be really cool. All right, here's the weird one. This one seems like it makes sense for the skill, but this doesn't really seem like a cool, like a wow, guess what? You could draw circles on the ground. Yeah, so you can draw a circle on the ground anywhere, just like fires. You can use them for cooking. These are used for shamanism, and much like fires, they can be drawn in most areas outdoors. So it's just saying you can set up shop wherever you want and start going to town. Start shamanism. Shamanizing, if you will. Finally, bring your components and combine them into powerful new shamanic items at a ritual circle. You'll be able to produce new items like tikis, palatreses, oils, and totems, but you'll be able to augment your existing gear with powerful bonuses. This is the huge, like, red flag, biggest question mark. Like, what the heck does that mean? I don't even know that I necessarily think that that needs to be a thing in the game. Like, that you need to, I guess this is supposed to be like invention. I think warding had some stuff like that. That's what this is trying to go for. I really don't think you need to augment your existing gear. I don't know. I'm very conflicted. I think maybe new items in the future could involve using this skill. Like, if you got some sort of items from the spirit realm, and to be able to go to the spirit realm and collect those items, you have to use this skill. But I don't know that it's like trade in, like what are the upgrades for Kraken? I think if you get 10 tentacles, you can upgrade your tridents and have them do more ammo and stuff like that. Like that kind of stuff I'm not really that interested in, like just having weird grindy, or like I'm not really interested in every item you have now. You need to use shamanism to be able to power it up or whatever. But I think doing shaman specific, like sort of content to unlock new items, or maybe some like smaller items you could actually empower a little bit. I'm trying to think of what it would even be, because they want to do new rings. Rings is really what I was thinking of. You do something with a fire cape or infernal cape, maybe. I don't know. I think it should be something small, or gloves, some sort of new Barrows gloves. That could be really cool. But I really don't think we need to like put like have some crazy Torva where you have to, dude. Okay, actually, honestly, augment Bandas to be as strong as Torva. Do that. Have me grind out some crazy boss that's just like Nex. I just want Torva that looks like Bandas. Please do that. I hate the way the Torva looks so much. Or Inquisitors. Make Inquisitors that good. I will grind out Nightmare and get Inquisitors just so I can have it be as good as Torva, because I really don't like Torva. Hauntake, maybe. Torva looks kind of dumb. Even Justice here. Like, any of these could look bad. Just, you know, honestly, don't need augment. I don't need powerful bonuses. I need transmogs, okay? That's what I want. Increasing your shamanism level grants access to more rituals and deeper parts of the spirit realm. Yeah, it seems really cool. And again, thematically, this is really, really good. I think. In terms of rewards and interactions with the world, I don't really know yet this deep in here, but thematically, I think this looks really cool. So let's keep going. Let's learn some more. So disclaimers. This is very clearly the wild card. This is the wild card pitch. Instead of being a utility skill, it offers utility through the reward space. The core gameplay loop, however, feels definitely old school, with a mix of gathering and production activities. Absolutely, I 100% agree with that. What they've said so far, it definitely still feels like it will be old school. And that's why I think it's so cool, because thematically it's very different from a lot of things, but it also touches a tiny bit on a lot of things that are existing, like I mentioned, like the Soul Bane and Druidic Ritual and things like that. Community consultation revealed that you had a strong desire for a skill that enhances existing items as part of the reward space. Combining elements of magic and nature, we took our learnings from the survey results to come up with something unique and fun. While this pitch is certainly the wildest of the three, we really think you'll like it. It's about finding the magic of nature all around you. We think it could have strong ties to the ongoing lore of the game. Again, absolutely agree. Thematically, this one hits by far the hardest. Content though, what is going on with the content? At its core, shamanism is trained by gathering components and using them to produce new things. You'll need to gather two kinds of components, natural and spiritual. Once you have enough, you can create a ritual circle and start making powerful shamanic items. That's where the bulk of your XP will come from. You can forge natural components from nature. Look for new nodes scattered across Gielinor and use your shamanism skill to harvest the goods. You're looking for things like mushrooms, roots, bark, leaves, berries, and other naturey stuff. Shamanism also lets you gather valuables from beasts around the world. Bring your carving knife to pick up valuable components from your kills like giant bone marrow, hellhound blood, giant frog spleens, and more. As for the spiritual components, you'll gather these from special nodes called disturbed sites. These are places where the veil between the spirit world and our own is thin, and careful adventurers can get their hands on spiritual components, physical manifestations of magic that are essential to shamanistic rites. Okay, what does that mean? What's the spirit realm? Well, the spirit realm is an alternate reality populated by spirits. Skilled shamans can harness the power of this realm as a source of their shamanic abilities, as well as using disturbed sites to cross over into the spirit realm itself, allowing you to explore this mysterious new area. So sailing added a lot of new areas to go in. Taming added new ways to interact with the existing world, and the spirit realm is a mix between the two. You will go to existing places where the disturbed sites will be, and then you will go into some new mysterious area. Kind of like Zenaris. I think this is probably what it's trying to be. The spirit realm is a mirror of Gielinor you know and love, but it's subtly different. A locked door in our world might be open in the spirit realm, or vice versa. Mastery of Shamanism will let you navigate the game world by jumping between the two, unlocking new paths and revealing hidden secrets. What will you discover? We don't quite know what the spirit realm will look like at this early stage. Should shamanism move through to the refinement phase, we'll be sure to discuss our ideas with you. I think maybe they don't mean that literally. I mean, of course they could, but I don't think they mean literally jumping between the two and like a mirror. I don't know, they say mirror world. Like the way they describe it is just, here's Gielinor with like a black and white filter on it. Now some things have changed. I don't know that they mean that literally, and I think they mean that in a much more localized way. Like, here's a chunk you're in now. It's very similar, but there are some differences to it. Not just, you're in the spirit realm, now you can just walk through all of Gielinor, and like, there's just a few changes here or there. I don't think they mean that, but I don't know. They really, that's one of the things, like, this is very vague intentionally because they want to know what people want. Honestly, I'm not super, like, I don't have a strong desire for either. I would be okay with them doing specific, localized, like, this is just, you're in the spirit realm of the Lumbered Swamp. You can't leave the swamp. Here's some new things in the swamp. Or we're doing the entire map, walk around the map. I think it might be better doing the localized one, because otherwise you have to redo the entire map. And is it actually going to be any good doing that? Probably not. But at the same time, does it need to be good? Like, because you know the spots you want to go to anyway. So it's just kind of limiting it for the sake of limiting it. I don't know. I'm fine with either, I think. But how does that impact our existing gameplay? What rewards can we see? The reward items. The biggest reward from Shamanism is the ability to create potent magical items at ritual circles. All these things that they keep talking about are on the table. Now, they don't know exactly what these are going to do, but they want them to provide utilities, perhaps a special oil that makes tools better, or a quirky relic to provide magical support. There's a huge variety of potential uses for this stuff, and we're excited to narrow it down. I have something I want to say, but I'll wait. Augmenting equipment. On top of this, we want to let you augment your existing items. Shamanism will provide new and exciting ways to improve your gear, whether that be a stat increase on your armor, a new damage type for your weapon, or more efficient skilling tools. This is another thing we'll probably iron out in the refinement phase. Huge thing I just thought of. And this wasn't the other thing. I have two things. First thing, these are incredibly vague, intentionally so. They want to have the space to be able to put out cool rewards through this, but they don't want to give specifics, because if they do something that isn't worthwhile, that's underpowered or overpowered, everyone's going to be mad, and they will say, no, we are not doing the skill. And they don't want that. They think that this skill is cool and that they can figure out the numbers later, and I totally agree. I don't think we need to get the numbers now. I don't think they need to be like, yo, augment some equipment, Bandos +2 strength, vote for it now. And everyone's like, actually it should be +3. I'm not voting for the skill. Or, oh no, that's way too strong. This should never be in the game. Things like that they want to avoid, and I understand that. So it is very vague, but again, this is kind of how the pitching is working. I do feel like this skill will suffer the most because it's vague. I feel like even though you say all three of them are vague, I think sailing is the least vague, because we've been hearing about it since 2015 and have kind of already thought in our own head what it could be. So I think this one's definitely going to hurt the most on that. But one thing that I thought of with augmenting equipment, I really hate, and I might be in the minority of this, I really hate how it feels very artificial. Like there's a lot of different upgrades in the late game that just make you have to bring a bunch of swaps for like kind of not a big deal, in my opinion, or not a, I would like to be able to do more work to have less swaps, I guess. Like a lot of the Zenite stuff, specifically the necklaces. I play an iron right now, and I play a group iron actually, and we don't have, you know, a bunch of each of all these Zenites, and I'm just rocking a Fury, and I'm fine with rocking a Fury for a while because I don't know how to swap. I like that it gives these defensive bonuses. I know they're saying just improving the gear, but honestly, I would be okay with improving it at the cost of like, I'd like to combine the gear. Like if we're afraid of that being too overpowered, like let me combine my range necklace and my strength necklace together, and like quit giving me all these penalties for wearing these items. Like upgrading the boots I think are maybe okay, but even then I don't like that you have to like swap all the time. But I mean, you don't, it's not really that big of a deal to have to bring the swaps, I guess, is the thing. Like I normally don't bring like infinity boots to swap between while I'm doing a raid or something. I think rings are okay. I'm not too annoyed about rings. Necklaces and gloves though, I really like having to have ferocious gloves and then that not be like, I guess with the Zerite stuff, it's maybe a little different having the bracers, but like, I don't know. I still don't really like having, like for my current character, what I would have to do is I would have to have ferocious gloves and Barrow's gloves if I wanted to not just be doing all the melee stuff. And things like that, where it's just like, I feel like they just got really picky and wanting to build niches out of things that didn't maybe necessarily need the niches. And again, I'm not like super in the high level, like I'm not doing Zuck speedruns or hard, I'm not even doing hard mode DOB. Like I don't know if that will break the game if you try to do that and it's like super necessary, but I think for most players, it's like, how much of a difference in DPS are we gaining if you allow these like not having to keep swapping items or like grinding out this huge grind for an item, like getting like, okay, I'm gonna do Hydra now so I can have these better gloves, and then it's like, what's better? Kind of, it's better in this way, but not in that way. Like these not straight upgrades for these niches that maybe don't actually need to exist. Like I think there's a lot of good stuff that comes from having niches in combat, but some of them I don't think necessarily add a ton, like having not like Fury has some defensive bonuses, and I think more prayer than like whatever the Zenite necklaces are, and having some sort of enhancement to combat that I think would be really good. That's more what I would like to see for enhancing gear. Some of the gear that has trade-offs that's also an air quote upgrade, remove the trade-offs, just make it slightly better, give it a little bit of defense, give it a little bit of prayer, whatever. I think that could be cool. I don't really need my Torva to have like a +4 more melee strength or something like that. I think that's pretty whatever. So finally, as your shamanism skill increases, you'll be able to delve deeper into the spirit realm. Who knows what you may discover. And in summary, shamanism is a combination gathering and production skill that lets you harness the power of nature to create powerful utility and support items while upgrading your existing equipment and exploring the mysterious spirit realm. Shamanism's core gameplay loop is quintessentially old school, a familiar process with a magical twist. Are you ready to perform some rituals? Then grab your fellow shamans and vote yes. TLDR thematically seems amazing. Rewards pretty questionable. It definitely will be good for the game because we will dictate what it is, but how good will it be? How meaningful or meaningless? I don't know. It will add extra little steps to some of the existing things. So maybe in Slayer, you have to bring a knife with you if you want to try to make some stuff, which could be fun. It also could just be kind of a pain where you're like, now my Slayer grind's like a little more tedious. I don't know. I don't know exactly how it's going to end up being, but I definitely think this has the potential to be the best new skill in the game. I think just, oh man, just look at this stuff. It looks so cool. If you know anything about any of the quests, if you got your quest cape, I think you could see this and be like, okay, I see shades of this from that quest, shades of this from the other one. So I think this would fit into the world really well. Is the gameplay loop going to be fun, interactive, exciting? I don't know. I think time will tell. And I think if you want to learn more, you should vote for it. Go ahead, do it. Or maybe don't. I don't know. Maybe check out the other videos I have on the other skills. And with that, I am going to go. Bye.